Anda masih bersama kami di The Economic. Saya masih bersama dengan Naveed Sultan, Global Head of Treasury and Trade Solution, Citigroup. Naveed, let's talk more about Indonesia, like the biggest country in Southeast Asia, most fourth populous country in the world. How does Citi seeing Indonesia as is it still a sexy girl for Citi?
Indonesia, as per my earlier remarks, we are the most global bank. We are in 98 markets. Like I said, we do business overall in 160 markets. And in that global model, Asia, and then within Asia, Indonesia remains a very, very important component of our global business model and our global footprint. So aside from that relevance to our business model, I think Indonesia as an economy, as a country, is also very, very important, which is reflected by our 50-year presence in this country. We being the full service bank, including the institutional and consumer bank. And so that reflects our commitment, how we service the multinational clients, the top tier local companies, the financial institutions, public sector, and of course, providing impetus and support to the digital economy players like the unicorns.
Including Gojek.
Exactly. And as you know, Indonesia has the highest concentration of the unicorns in ASEAN region. So we work very closely with them to help them achieve their goals. So as you can see, we are engaged in a very broad spectrum of client segments, including the commercial bank, which is a small, medium enterprise. So that is reflective of our commitment and the relevance and importance of this market. But if you look at the economy on a standalone basis, it's a very large economy. If you go by the GDP, if you go by some of the earlier indicators which I talked about, its transition towards becoming a digital economy, embracing e-commerce, a very educated population, very progressive, and their comfort and how well conversant they are with the technology, the new technologies. So I think if you look at all those elements, we believe that Indonesia will continue to prosper, thrive, not only just in the Asian context, but I think in a global context. And therefore, I think we will continue to make sure that we stay relevant to our clients and this franchise by making investments, by continuously helping a broad segment of clients. And as these clients who are based in Indonesia want to realize their regional and global ambitions, we will help them achieve their global ambition because that's one of our core competencies. And as there are investment flows into the country by other companies or investors around the world, we also want to make sure we facilitate that. At the same time, we are also working with the policymakers, the regulators in Indonesia, to facilitate the upgrading of the financial infrastructure to make it compatible with the digital economy. We have developed what we call a digital money index, and we developed it about 7 years ago. And in that, it essentially evaluates about 80 countries around the world on their digital money adoption readiness. And it evaluates those countries based on 4 key pillars, which is the government and policy support, availability of the technology and telecommunication infrastructure, the availability of digital banking solutions, be it in the traditional banking sector or be it in the new age like fintechs, and then the sophistication of the population to adopt those digital money solutions. And so based on those 4 pillars, as the governments execute against those four pillars, they move up the digital money index. So Indonesia has moved up to 39 rank on that report based on our 2019 report, and I think it has moved up about 7 or 8 places. And that shows you that the country is moving in the right direction based on the indicators which I mentioned earlier. And as it continues to pursue those policies, which we are also helping the government and the regulators, we believe that it will accrue a lot of benefits to the Indonesian economy and the participants in that economy, and that will be a greater financial inclusion and savings on doing the financial transactions, both for the retail as well as for the enterprises. There is a greater collection of taxes because more and more flows become part of the formal economy. Economic growth picks up. So all of those benefits accrue to the government. So my point being that if you look at by those range of elements which I mentioned, it clearly underscores the importance of this economy and this country in its own right, but also in the context of the region and our global franchise.
Naveed, as the technology moves rapidly, very fast, and then a lot of countries, especially the developed countries, making automation, some kind of that. But for Indonesia, we're going to have a demographic bonus, like a couple of years ahead. Do you think that kind of disruption would be relevant, like moving our orientation not only for human orientation, but move to the automation ahead is relevant for a country, developed country like Indonesia? And what impact is this disruption having on your business?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at today, the way I would describe is that this phenomena of technology, and in fact, I would make the argument that the fourth industrial revolution is underway, which is driven by a wide range of technologies across digital, physical, and biological world. And some of these technologies are in their infancy stage, but they reach the inflection point quite quickly as they work together in combinations. So, for example, 3D printing would not be possible unless there is enough computing power or there is artificial intelligence or data analytics and things of those nature. So you can call it generally the overall phenomena that the technological revolution is picking up very rapid speed. And as a result of that, we are seeing pretty much every aspect of a economy in transition. Economies are in transition, societies, so are the businesses and the enterprise. And I think it presents very significant challenges, but at the same time, very significant opportunities. And in order for us to overcome the challenges and leverage the opportunities, I think there is a need for all the participants in an economy to work in a very coordinated and collaborative manner. So, which is the regulators, the policymakers, the financial institution, businesses, investors, and so on and so forth, so that we can coordinate a response whereby we leverage the opportunities and mitigate the downside risk, which could be a labor displacement. So I think what is really important is that there is tremendous amount of opportunity, we believe, for economic growth. There's a tremendous opportunity for productivity. There's a tremendous opportunity for businesses to rethink their business and operating models to stay relevant to their clients in the future. I think there is an opportunity for governments to become more efficient. In fact, we are about to publish a report on what we call digital government.
Digital
Government, yes. And it basically makes the point along what I just said, digital money index, but it is broader than just the digital money index, that how in the future government engages with its citizens to create the best possible outcome from an economic and social standpoint. So,
are you working on that project?
yes, and we will release that report over the next few weeks. And certainly when it is released, it will be available to our clients in Indonesia, and we'll be happy to send you a copy too.
Of course. We'd love to having that copy. Naveed will be back again after this commercial break, and it's more into you, like as a leader, because at the moment we are facing the millennials CEO, a lot of millennial CEOs, and we'd love to know your philosophy after this commercial break. Kami akan kembali sesaat lagi masih di CNBC Indonesia Beyond Business.
There are 2 or 3 things which are very, very important. The first one is authenticity is very important. Secondly, empathy and appreciation of diversity.